So over the last couple of days, a lot has happened in the crypto market that we need to go over. We've seen big announcements come out from Cardano and Snoop Dogg. We've seen long-term Bitcoin investors reach a record high in terms of how much Bitcoin they're holding. We've also seen huge announcements from the UK and how they're going to adopt stablecoins as legal tender. So let's jump right in and talk about everything you need to know. And if you enjoy this sort of short-form, concise content, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. So Bitcoin right now, we're looking at technical indicators and the charts. What we're seeing is that Bitcoin's price was rejected a couple days ago at this 200-day moving average, this blue line right here. Historically, this is a very important level because whenever we see Bitcoin's price break above this 200-day moving average, this blue line, this is historically a very bullish pattern. And usually we see Bitcoin's price go on to rally 100, 200%. Also, what we've seen is that Bitcoin, though, is able to maintain this strong support at right around $45,750 per coin. And this has been very important as well because as we can see over the last couple of months, this has been a key level for Bitcoin. So as long as we're able to stay above this orange range right here, as long as we are trading above it, this is a good sign. We just need to see Bitcoin's price break above this 200-day moving average, this blue line, then really we're well on our way to $50,000 per coin very, very quickly. Next thing I want to talk about, though, is going to be what is going on with long-term Bitcoin investors, because right now we're looking at data, and this is according to a recent post by Bellboy, and again, this isn't sponsored, but this is where I've been getting most of my news as of lately. They have less than 1,000 followers, so go show them some support over there. But according to this recent post, we could see that long-term Bitcoin investors now hold a record of nearly 12 million Bitcoin. And when we zoom in a little bit, you can see this data from Glassnode, and you can see that Bitcoin, like the amount of Bitcoin long-term holders are continuing to add, is at a record high. And every single time that we start seeing long-term holders add more to their position, every time we see that this number is going up, this is a historically very bullish sign because it means people are betting on Bitcoin long-term. People who have owned Bitcoin for over a year are adding to their positions. And historically, this is just a very good sign if you're in the crypto market. So keep an eye out on this, but you got to remember that this means people are betting on Bitcoin long-term. This means that a lot of Bitcoin is being taken off of exchanges, meaning supply is lower, and all of this is what we want to see if we're in the crypto market right now. And then last couple things with Bitcoin before we get into Cardano is going to be that right now we're seeing that the UK has announced plans and released a full plan of how they are potentially going to adopt stablecoins as legal tender. This is according to a recent announcement from UK's finance minister. And according to this recent announcement, they talk about how UK is aiming to become the global hub for crypto in the world, one of the biggest hubs for crypto in the world. And what they're doing specifically is they're outlining a couple of measures and a couple of plans that they're going to put in place to make it easy that firms can invest, innovate, and scale in the blockchain and crypto space over years to come. They also go on to explain how the government is going to introduce legislation as part of an ambition to deliver a world-leading regulatory regime for stablecoins. And ultimately, it goes on and on talking about the importance of crypto, stablecoins, and the role they're going to play in the future in the years to come, and how the UK wants to be one of the global hubs for this space. So this is very exciting to see. A huge population, very prominent, is looking at really going all in on crypto. And then last thing with Bitcoin is going to be right now with 19 million Bitcoin have officially been mined and are in circulation. And this is a huge deal because there are only 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be mined. And right now, according, as of April 1st, 2022, we've seen that 19 million out of 21 million Bitcoin have been mined and now are in circulation. Yes, it's not that exact number because some people have lost their wallet addresses. There's always going to be Bitcoin that is lost, due to people losing their hardware wallets, people losing access to cold storage. That is always going to happen. But right now we have seen that the Bitcoin network has reached a record where they have officially mined 19 million Bitcoin. So what does this mean for you? So what this means ultimately is that right now, there's only 2 million Bitcoin left to be mined. This is going to take place over more than 100 years, so you don't have to worry about that. But as we get closer and closer to 21 million Bitcoin, it becomes harder and harder for Bitcoin miners to actually obtain Bitcoin. So this is just something to keep an eye out on over the coming, just keep an eye on this over the coming years, because while this isn't going to have a direct impact on the short term of your Bitcoin. Long term, one of the things people always preach and talk about with Bitcoin is how there's this limited supply. So seeing that 19 million out of 21 million have already been mined, it shows you that you really want to be owning. Your goal is to get at least one Bitcoin, if possible. Do everything you can to get to that. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Cardano. So one of the biggest announcements with Cardano that's happened since we last spoke is that Cardano has surpassed 2,000 smart contracts for the first time ever. And if we look at the number of Plutus smart contracts, according to Cardano blockchain insights, we could see that as of late March 2022, early April, the number of Plutus scripts has increased dramatically. The number of smart contracts has skyrocketed, more than really 500 in a 24-hour window. And this is because we're continuing to see Cardano's ecosystem grow. We're seeing the TVL, total value locked, on Cardano continue to increase. And ultimately, if you're a Cardano investor, this is a great sign. This is showing us that more people are using Cardano's ecosystem, more developers are building on it, and it's not just talk anymore. We're seeing a lot of development actually take place. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with CME Group, because they have announced plans recently that they are looking at offering Solana and Cardano futures. And we talked about this on Twitter the other day, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure to do so. Link is in the description. But Solana and Cardano might soon have future contracts available on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a CME Group executive said just the other week. And this is important because we have seen that there's a lot of offerings of Bitcoin and Ethereum products, but not many altcoin exchange traded products out there just yet. And according to this executive at the CME Group, they came out and said that the number one and number two request from their customers has been to offer products for Cardano and Solana, not for Terra, not for XRP, but specifically for Cardano and Solana. So this is really important because we're seeing that big players, big money players, whale accounts, institutions, and now that a lot of them are starting to get exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's pretty easy for them to get exposure to those, now they're looking at ways they can easily invest in other altcoins outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the top ones that they are picking and requesting are Solana and Cardano. So it'll be exciting to see what happens with this. If we do see this actually come to fruition, we see that they do offer Cardano and Solana futures. It's just going to help drive up the price of these two altcoins. And the last couple of things I want to talk about is going to be with what is going on with Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskinson. The other day on Twitter, a lot of people were talking about how Cardano is looking to burn ADA tokens and how they're still looking at doing this. And this actually made Charles Hoskinson pretty angry. He came out the other day and when people were saying, that they're going to burn ADA tokens, that's Cardano's plan. He came out and said that, look, I want to be specific about this. He said, turn off your computer, throw it in the trash, because basically, whenever you hear anyone talk about burning ADA tokens, that's a bunch of garbage. It's not going to happen. Whoever you hear that from really is not telling the truth. He said, ultimately, the idea of just burning Cardano is like burning money. It's going to hurt the Cardano ecosystem, and it's never going to happen. So if you see anything about Cardano tokens being burned, just remember that's not going to happen. That is not anything that they plan on ever doing. And just be careful when you're reading something on Twitter, you're looking at a video, even my videos, make sure to always do your own research, because sometimes people aren't always looking at valid sources. They aren't always doing the research. They're just saying whatever they feel like. So this is what Charles Hoskinson said the other day. And last thing is going to be with what is going on with Snoop Dogg and Cardano, because the other day there's a lot of talks how Snoop Dogg and Charles Hoskinson are going to be holding a Twitter Spaces event. It's going to take place on April 5th, 2022, so in less than 24 hours. And they're going to be dropping and announcing a new Cardano NFT drop. And this is a pretty big deal because Snoop Dogg has been pretty big in the crypto and NFT space over the last 12 to 18 months. We see him talk a lot about Ethereum NFTs, but this is the first time he's diving into the Cardano ecosystem. So it's going to be exciting to see some specific details of this collection. Right now, what we do know is that it's going to be released through Clay Nation, which is a Cardano-based platform. They say they're going to be iconic collectibles, unreleased music, and limited edition pitches. That's what's going to be released, but there'll be more details released on April 5th at 6 p.m. UTC. So make sure you check that out. Twitter Spaces, April 5th at 6 p.m. UTC, less than 24 hours. So let me know your thoughts on Cardano, what's going on in the overall market right now. I'm very bullish, like where the overall market's currently sitting. We just really need a break above that 200-day moving average. Then we'll be well on our way to $50,000 per coin, new record highs. So that's what's going on with the overall market. Sorry, this video is a little bit longer than normal, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.